paddled for teasing my brother. The living room was warm with the glow of a late afternoon sun streaming through the curtains, dust motes drifting lazily in the light. The faint hum of the television played in the background, though no one was really watching. On the carpet in the center of the room, a 10-year-old boy knelt with his collection of toy cars, lining them up carefully in a neat row as if he were running a miniature car show. His round face was full of concentration, his small fingers carefully nudging each car into its place. On the sofa, sprawled in a lazy posture, sat his 20-year-old sister. She wore black leggings and a loose gray hoodie, her long dark hair tumbling over one shoulder as she scrolled idly through her phone. She looked bored, occasionally sighing or stretching, her eyes half on her brother and half on the glowing screen in her hand. At the other end of the room, their mother sat in an armchair, folding a pile of laundry with steady hands. She wore a neat cream blouse tucked into a dark skirt, her sleeves rolled up as she worked. Her short brown hair framed a face that carried a quiet patience, though she kept glancing between her two children as if measuring the atmosphere. For a few minutes, all was calm. The boy hummed softly as he moved his cars along the carpet, making little vroom noises under his breath. His sister's thumbs tapped against her phone as she smiled at something on the screen. But then she glanced up, her eyes catching the way he was carefully arranging his toys, and the mischief began. "You're such a little baby with those cars," she said, her tone light but teasing. "What are you even doing? Pretending you're some big race driver?" The boy frowned, clutching one of the cars protectively. "I'm not a baby. I'm making a racetrack." She smirked, leaning forward. "A racetrack? On the carpet? Oh wow, very professional. Bet all the big drivers are jealous." She held up her phone as if filming him, her long dark hair falling across her face. "Breaking news, little boy thinks his living room is Silverstone." The boy's cheeks flushed. "Stop it," he muttered, keeping his eyes on his cars. Their mother looked up from the laundry. "Enough now," she said gently, not unkindly. "Don't tease him. Let him play." But her daughter wasn't done. She leaned down and snatched one of the cars before her brother could stop her. Holding it above her head, she grinned. "Oh no, looks like this one just crashed. Guess he's out of the race." "Give it back," the boy shouted, jumping up and reaching for the car. But at his height, he couldn't get anywhere near it. The girl laughed, dangling it just out of reach. "Come on, you've got to jump higher than that if you want to win." Her brother's face crumpled with frustration. His small fists balled at his sides. "Mooum," he cried. The mother set down the neatly folded shirt in her lap and sighed. "I said stop, didn't I?" Her voice was firmer now. "You're too old to be bothering him like this." The girl rolled her eyes, finally tossing the toy back onto the carpet. "Fine. It's just a joke. He needs to toughen up anyway." The boy picked up the car, hugging it to his chest, his eyes glistening. He sat back down, sulking, turning his face away. The mother's eyes narrowed slightly. She resumed folding, but the room felt heavier now, the warm air carrying a tension that hadn't been there before, but the sister didn't notice. Or perhaps she did and didn't care. After a few moments, she leaned forward again, her phone forgotten. "Ah, look at him pouting," she cooed in a high, mocking voice. "Little baby can't take a joke. Poor thing." The boy's lip trembled. "Stop," he shouted again, his voice cracking with frustration. The sister giggled, covering her mouth. "Oh, he's actually going to cry. Mummy's little baby boy. That did it." The boy's face scrunched up as tears spilled over. He grabbed his cars and shoved them into a messy pile, his shoulders shaking. The laughter died on the sister's lips as she heard the sound of the laundry basket being set firmly on the table. She looked up, and her smile faltered. Their mother had risen from her chair. She stood tall, her cream blouse catching the evening light, her hands steady and purposeful. "That's enough," she said quietly, but the quiet made it worse. The girl shifted uncomfortably on the sofa, still trying to play it off. "Mum, it was just a joke." Her mother didn't reply. She walked across the room to a cabinet by the wall, opened it, and pulled out a flat wooden paddle, smooth, sturdy, the kind usually used in the kitchen for rolling dough. In her hand, though, it meant something else entirely. The girl's eyes widened. "You're not actually serious?" Her mother turned, her expression calm but unyielding. "I've warned you before. Teasing your brother is bad enough, but making him cry on purpose? That crosses a line." The girl laughed nervously. "Mum, I'm 20. You can't seriously, I can. And I will." The mother walked to the center of the room, her heels clicking softly on the wooden floor. She pulled one of the sofa cushions aside and pointed. "Stand up. Over the armrest. Now." The boy sniffled on the carpet, wide-eyed, watching silently. The sister stayed frozen for a moment, her mouth open in disbelief. "You've got to be kidding." Her mother didn't move, didn't blink. "Do I look like I'm kidding?" The silence stretched. The girl swallowed hard, then slowly stood, her leggings clinging to her legs as she shifted nervously. Her long hair fell forward as she bent reluctantly over the sofa arm, pressing her palms into the cushion. She could feel the heat rising in her cheeks already. The mother stepped behind her, raising the paddle. Without hesitation, she brought it down with a sharp crack. The sound echoed through the room. The girl gasped, jerking forward. "Ow!" Another swat followed, firm and measured. Then another crack. 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 Her leggings did little to soften the sting. She wriggled, her hair flying as she twisted to look back. "Mum, stop. I'm too old for this." The mother's voice stayed calm. "Old enough to know better. Old enough to take responsibility." Crack. The boy sat silently on the carpet, his eyes wide as he watched his sister squirm. "Bullying your brother will not be excused." Crack. "Mocking him until he cries is shameful." Crack. "And it ends here." Crack. By now, the girl's eyes were watering, her cheeks flushed with both pain and embarrassment. "I'm sorry," she blurted out, her voice cracking. "I won't do it again." The paddle stopped. The mother lowered it, placing it firmly on the coffee table. She moved to the sofa, took her daughter by the arm, and turned her gently so they were face to face. Her daughter's long dark hair clung to her damp cheeks, her eyes glassy. She rubbed her backside with one hand, her posture no longer defiant. Her mother lifted her chin with 2 fingers, forcing her to meet her gaze. "You're 20 years old. You should be setting an example for him, not tearing him down. Do you understand me?" The girl nodded quickly. "Yes, Mum. I'm sorry. I really am." "Then prove it," her mother said softly but firmly. "Not with words. With how you treat him." The girl sniffled, glancing at her brother, who still sat on the carpet clutching his cars. She swallowed hard. "Sorry," she said awkwardly, her voice small. "I didn't mean to make you cry." The boy hesitated, then gave a shy nod, wiping his face with his sleeve. The mother exhaled, finally sitting back down in her chair, picking up the folded laundry again as if nothing had happened. The paddle, however, remained on the table, a silent reminder. the girl eased herself carefully onto the sofa, wincing, her face still pink. This time, instead of scrolling her phone, she reached down and picked up one of her brother's cars. She handed it to him gently. "Here. You can have the fastest one." He smiled faintly, accepting it. The living room settled again into warmth and calm, the sun dipping lower outside. The television hummed, the folded clothes stacked neatly, and the lesson lingered in the air, as sharp and clear as the echo of the paddled.